Welcome to Mimio Training Quick Learn On Demand, MimioVote Creating Assessments. In this session, I'm going to show you how to use the MimioVote templates, how to use those templates to create questions with answers, how to create activities and practice conducting those activities, and then finally we will conclude by a review of the Mimio Studio Gradebook. So let's start by talking about how to create activities using the templates. There are three different types of templates that you are going to find in your Mimio Studio gallery, and those are the question template, a results template, and then finally a session results template. So each of these templates can be easily drag and dropped right from your gallery into your Mimio Studio notebook page. So let's talk about each one of these real briefly. So the question template is going to allow you to quickly create questions with either multiple choice answers or true-false answers. In addition, if you have the Mimio mobile app enabled on your computer, you can also ask open response questions of your students as they use their mobile devices. And I'll demonstrate that ability here in just a little bit. You're going to be able to select the correct answer as well as choose possibly the weight value and how the correct answer is going to be displayed. So the question template gives you all that ability to actually set the question up, how it's going to be presented. A results template is going to allow you to immediately display real-time results for each question that you ask. Now this results template would be placed on the same page as a question template because they link together. So it's going to give you that real-time data of a particular question. Again, you can also edit the way this results template displays, either in a pie graph, a bar graph, a variety of ways that you can do that. Lastly, a session results template will show you the overall class results as you go through a particular activity. So it'll show you the cumulative results, giving you a different display which you can change how that looks, as well as a percentage as you go on. So the difference between the session results template is that whereas the results template would have to be placed on a particular page with a question, a session results template would not necessarily need to be on a page with a question. You could have it maybe on every other page, or maybe just at the very end of an assessment that you're doing maybe informally with students, just to give them a gauge of how they did as a class. So a variety of things that you can do there. Now you'll also notice, and I'll demonstrate this when we get into practicing this, that each of these come in with a blue border. Now, the blue border, like anything in Mimio, indicates that there is something animated with that object. And to get rid of the blue border, you can simply lock that down by selecting it and either right-click and choose locking, or come up to the Format menu and choose locking. And I'll demonstrate that. So those are the three templates that we're going to be utilizing. Let's dive in more to the question template. So to do this, I'm going to open up my Mimio Studio gallery just so you can kind of play along with what I'm showing you. So there's my gallery. Now you'll notice within your gallery you have a variety of folders that are organized to hold the various content that you'll find in the Mimio Studio gallery. So if you look at the questions and results, if you maximize that folder, you're going to find a variety of folders. So we're going to specifically look at the questions folder. I'm going to maximize that. And I'm going to find two types of question templates that I can bring into Mimio Studio, a text template and a universal template. And I will mention, I'll talk about both of those and show you how you can use those. So really the difference is a text question template allows you to type in the text of your question, type in your answer, select your answer, and go for it. A universal question template is going to give you the flexibility of adding a variety of multimedia. You can add your own text boxes to customize what you want, add images, anything. It simply gives you the ability to put the answer choices in, and then you can make it work for you. Additionally, if you have Mimio Mobile or Mimio Mobile enabled devices, you'll find the new question templates for open response questions within the universal question template. So as I click on each one of these folders and maximize the drop down here, you're going to see a variety of formats that are all ready for you. You can pick one from the start, but I'll show you very easily how, even if you've chosen a multiple choice question, that you can edit that into a true-false question on the fly once you've already added it. If I click on the universal questions template folder, you're going to find, again, similar templates that just have the answer choices, but you'll also find an essay question, a numeric question, and if I scroll down, a short answer question. And again, those can only be used with Mimio Mobile enabled devices. Anything else, whether it's a text question or the universal questions, multiple choice or true false, those can be utilized with both the MimioVote handheld units as well as the mobile devices. So you have some options based upon your devices that you have. So let's talk about how to create those activities using these templates, and then we'll actually do it. So once I bring in one of my question templates, we're going to start with text questions. I'm going to simply be able to type in my question, type in my answers, and then choose your correct answer. You then, let me zoom in on this part, down in the bottom right, you're going to see a little icon, and that is an editing settings icon. So once you click on that, you are going to be given an editing settings window. And this is where you can, on the fly, change your question from an ABCD question. Maybe I want to make it into a true-false question. So you can pick any format that you want, and you can change it on the fly, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel and start over if you've decided to change up your question. The second area is going to allow you to choose the display options that your students will see to reveal the correct answer. So you have a variety of options there. But in the case where you don't want to reveal the answers to students when they're done, you can choose the blank box, and that will give you the control of discussing or revealing the correct answer when you choose. So you do have those options. In the last area, you do have the option of changing the weight of that question if you choose, but otherwise, most teachers just leave that as 1. So when you have your options chosen, you can simply click on the check mark, and then you will go back to the question format. Now, additionally, as I mentioned, you could have the choice, if you wanted to either add a results template or a session results template. And again, just like the question template, in the lower right of each of these, you have that same edit settings wheel. You can click that and have options of changing how that information is displayed. Now, you do not have to add a results or a session results template at all. It's all a matter of preference and how you want data to be displayed. Again, the beautiful thing about using MimioVote or even the Mimio mobile app with enabled mobile devices is that you have an opportunity to collect real-time assessment data that's either informal or formative assessment based, and you can really gauge what your students are learning. So let's put some of this into practice, and let's actually create a text question. So here's our objective that we're going to go through. We're going to create a question template, and to do this, I'm going to, again, go to my text question. I'm going to choose maybe an ABCD question. So I'm going to simply drag and drop that right onto my template. Now, you'll notice that there are the radio buttons on the outside. That means I can drag and resize to fit whatever need I have. So I can make it fill my whole screen or maybe just the part of my screen that I want to display here. I'm going to simply type in a question. So I could type in a question, which of the following are fruits? Question mark. And now I can tab or simply use my mouse and click down here. So I can type in potato. I can type in banana. And I can type in, let's see, what would be another type of, let's go green beans. All right. Now, very important is that you need to choose an answer if there is a correct answer. So this would all be done on your own without students being present, because obviously you want to create the question and then create a key. So the correct answer here would be, which of the following are fruits? That would only be banana, and then you would mark this. You got to make sure you check mark the correct answer, otherwise that data will not be graded in the Mimio Studio Gradebook. Now you do have the option also of making questions that are opinion based. So if you asked a question that didn't have a correct answer, or you were simply wanting to get opinions, then you would choose the bottom button here, which is the no response, no correct response, and you'd be set there. So we're going to keep it at banana being the right answer. Let's go ahead and show you how to edit this question if you choose. I can click the edit button. You'll see it flip over. And at this time, I can again change this to a true-false question. I can change it to an ABCD or ABCDE question. I can choose how that answer will be revealed when I reveal it. If I don't want the answer to be revealed for students, I want to maybe discuss it after they've taken it, I'll simply choose the blank box. So I'm going to choose a smiley face. We all need some smiles. I'm going to leave the weighting at 1, and then I'm going to click the green check mark. That's going to flip it back over. And if I want to lock this down, I just clicked off of it. So if I want to lock this down so I can't move, and maybe I want to get rid of this blue border, again, I can select it. And either on Windows, I can right-click and go over to Lock, or once it's selected, I can come up here to Format, Locking, and Lock. And that will lock that border down if I choose to do that. Now, another great thing about this is that I don't have to continually do this over and over and over. In fact, let me go ahead and lock this question. Now, if this is all that I had on this page, what I can do here is I can simply duplicate this page. Let me get rid of this guy. I can simply duplicate this page, and it'll automatically renumber. So you can duplicate it simply by coming up to Insert, Duplicate Page, or simply hit Control-D. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now watch what happens. So my question number automatically goes to question 2. Let me go back just to show you. So there's my question 1. It automatically numbers the questions, and now my format is already set, and I can come up with my next question, which might be, what is your favorite food? And I could keep these same options, or I could come in and put new ones, maybe pizza, maybe bananas, maybe broccoli. I'm not spelling broccoli right, so let's use something a little bit different here on the spot. Let's go peas. How about that? And maybe I want to come in here and choose, maybe make this a question that has maybe A, B, C, D, E choices. So I can flip that over. I can click my check mark, and I can give a couple more choices. So maybe I want to say apples, or an apple, and maybe I want to say all of the above, if I wanted to. Now, since this is an opinion question, I don't want to make a specific answer the one to be chosen, so I'm going to check no correct answer. And there, I'm ready to go. Now, you'll notice as soon as I make these, I have a blue button down here, which we'll talk about that later, that allows me to send the question out to my student devices, whether that is the MimioVote units or maybe the mobile devices that are enabled with Mimio Mobile. You'll also notice that as soon as I have some questions built in, that I have a MimioVote toolbar down here at the bottom that allows me to choose my class. I can start polling from here. I can check results here and all that. So tell you what, let's also demonstrate the fact that we can add a results chart. So maybe on this particular question, I can add a results chart. So I click on the results chart folder. You'll see I have a variety of options. It really doesn't matter what you choose, because just like the question editing feature, you can change these at any time. So I'm going to maybe bring over this 2D donut that's exploded. So I'm going to maybe put it right there. Again, it's blue, so if I want this to be locked down when I'm done, I can lock it down. If I choose the edit button, you're going to see I can flip over and on the spot change a variety of formats without having to go back to my gallery. I can even, if I want, choose the different colors and then how that information is going to be displayed, whether it's percentage or whether it's correct or incorrect. So I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm going to flip it back over. Again, you can resize this to fit your needs. You can do a lot of different things. So I'm going to actually go ahead and select both of these, and I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to lock them both down. And now I'm ready to pose this question. So it's really that easy to get this going. So that's how you would create a text question using the templates. Let's move over to using the universal question templates. So once again, as I mentioned, the universal question templates have their own folder. It's called Universal right there. It allows you to bring all sorts of other multimedia content to really customize the look and feel of your questions. Now, you can, with all question types, you can only put one question per page. So we just have a couple graphics here to show what's possible. It would not be possible to put two questions on one page. So just making sure that's laid out there. So in this example, we've built in the universal question template right there. And then we put a couple of different videos in here with a results template. And then maybe you want each of your students or all of your students to watch each video, and then which one of those discusses the impact that humans have on their environment. So same thing over here, what type of pet do you have at home? This would be perfect for an opinion type question. Again, you could check on the edit question and turn that into an opinion based question. So works much the same way, except for the fact that you have the control to add any other content. You would add your own text boxes. It doesn't give you the areas to type in text like before, so you just use your normal text box tools to create those. So I also want to mention here, for those of you that might have the Mimio Mobile app, which again, Mimio Mobile, which you can check out our Quick Learn session specifically designed around Mimio Mobile. So I'm going to throw in a web link out there in the chat window over there to the left side, and this is going to take you to our Quick Learn page, which you can find out all about the Quick Learn session titled Mimio Goes Mobile. So the Mimio mobile app allows you to utilize your mobile devices, whether they are Android or Apple devices, for collaboration activities, control activities, as well as a variety of assessment activities. So just as the screenshots show here, you can also use a combination of MimioVote units or mobile devices to ask those normal multiple choice true-false questions. So if you have mobile devices, you can simply create those same questions we've already done and send those out to your mobile devices, giving you a very powerful leverage tool, especially if you have a bring your own device initiatives in your school. So the beautiful thing about the mobile devices is that now you have the ability to add open response questions, which are ideal for the upcoming Common Core assessments coming in 2014. So it gives you that great opportunity to practice with your students answering those types of questions. So there are 3 types of open response questions that you can ask, and I'll zoom in on each one of these. So we're going to start with essay. So an essay, which again is the icon located right there in the gallery. Here's an example of an essay question. As a science question, you could have students state the name, location, and charge of all the particles that make up an atom. Here's what students would actually see when that question is delivered to their mobile device. So they're going to have an opportunity to type in their answers, and when they're done, they would hit Submit Answer. So it's very, very easy to deploy that to all of your mobile devices. Let's go back here to a numeric response. So a numeric response is only going to accept numbers or symbols like periods or number signs. So maybe we want students to indicate the value of pi to the nearest hundredths place. So again, the teacher would be putting this in. There's the answer. Maybe they built in a results chart. So the results chart for the open response questions will only indicate the number of students that are correct or incorrect. So again, just like before, here's what that mobile device would show. Student would type in 3.14, if that's what they think, and hit Submit Answer. So you have some of the same options as we have, but you have a lot better way to leverage those open response abilities. Lastly, short answer, much the same way. Let me zoom in on this. So in this particular case, it gives you a fantastic ability, I think, to allow students to incorporate multiple answers to their question, in their answers. So in this example, maybe we're wanting students to name the first 2 planets in our solar system. So the teacher in advance would put in the 2 answers, Mercury and Venus. And here is what the student mobile device would display. So they're going to get up to 5 separate entry boxes for them to enter their answer. So another great case of this, there are a variety of simple machines, 6 types of simple machines. You could ask students for 2 or maybe even 3 examples of simple machines, and students would again have 2 or 3 responses out of the 5 or 6 that you'd want them to answer. So it gives you a great ability to ask a variety of question formats. Now, what's even better about this, and this also goes along with the use of MimioVote in asking the multiple choice and true-false questions, is that all of that data is going to be automatically collected. So here's a screenshot of the Mimio Studio Gradebook. And I would definitely check out our Gradebook session if you've not already attended that. But one of the things we show you in that session is all of the data that is collected. So just like the assessment data using MimioVote, all the data that's collected from the use of your mobile devices is also collected, and if you're using the open response questions, it also is indicated here. So the number sign tells you that that was a numeric question. That's going to tell you that you had a short answer type of question, so it's all right there. Again, it gives you easy color coding, so you know that you had maybe 3 students out of 4 that were correct, maybe 1 incorrect. The blue indicates that as a teacher, and this is the case with all short answer type of questions, open response questions, you're going to have the ability to go back in and regrade this. So the grading program will grade based upon the spelling of it. Essay questions, like most other applications, you're going to have to go in and manually look at those and determine whether or not that student is correct or not. So that's what the blue icon in the gradebook indicates. It means that the teacher needs to intervene. These questions are already graded because they were explicit enough for answers to be given. So just something to keep in mind, and we talk a little bit more about that in the Mimio Studio Gradebook Quick Learn session. So that is how you would create those universal question templates. Let's dive a little bit more into the specific short answer open response question. Again, here's an example of that simple machines. You could simply set your question up to name 2 types of simple machines. You could put in your possible answers that students could choose from right there. So that's what you're seeing in that screen. And then if you click on the Edit button, which again is down in the bottom right, here is where you can, a little bit different options when you use open response questions. So once again, on the fly, you can choose the type of question that you want to ask. So whether it's a numeric, a short answer, or an essay. You can also choose how the correct answers will be revealed, using a little bit different animations if you choose to. Otherwise, you can choose the blank box. Once again, you can choose the weighting if you choose. And then down here, this is really the only case that you may want to utilize this. So the 0 or the null sign indicates that just like in the multiple choice true-false, if you have the slider moved to the left, that means this question will not be graded. It's more of an opinion question. It's not going to be scored incorrect or correct. So the great thing about the short answer option is in the question like this where there's multiple possible answers, you just want 2 of them. So you can come over here and use the slider to indicate how many correct answers you're going to require. Now, you can only have a maximum of 5 that you can pick. So in this example, yes, there are 6 simple machines, and these are the possible answers, but you're going to accept only 2 of the 5 possible responses that MimioVote can use. So it does give you some options as far as how you assess your students using those open response type of questions. So again, that's how you would manipulate these type of questions to deliver those. So let's go through and practice creating a universal question template that can be used on every device, whether it's Mimio mobile units, the mobile devices, or the MimioVote. So again, MimioVote units can accept any type of question that's multiple choice and true-false, as well as mobile devices. The mobile devices using Mimio Mobile are the only devices that can accept the open response question in addition to multiple choice true-false. So what we're going to do here, let's pull out our little objective. We're going to pull out and place a universal question template onto this page. And I already have some things set up here, so it's going to make it easier for me to save some time here. And we're going to set this question up. So our question, if I want to pull this out and resize it, so again, I would have created a text box. That's all this is. I would have created a text box and simply typed in my text. That's all I've done. I've just done it already to save some time. I can resize that. I can change the font, the colors, all that good stuff. So I've already loaded some graphics in here, which I can get these from any internet site or possibly your gallery. So I'm going to have 3 choices. And so I'm going to bring in, because that's what the question I'm going to ask, I'm going to bring in a multiple choice ABC. So this is, again, in the universal question templates. I'm going to click right here, and I can either double click to bring it in or simply drag and drop. So I'm going to drag and drop it. I can resize it to fit better on my screen. I can hold the Shift key down while I drag it to change the proportion of it. Otherwise, it stays pretty well in proportion. So maybe I want to do something like this, get it on my page. I can set it up however I want. So maybe I want the question at the top. Let's maybe redo this a little bit. And then I can bring my graphics in. So I can put my bananas. Now you'll notice that my bananas, my fruits actually go underneath this question object. And that is because it's ordered incorrectly. Because I brought this question template in at the end, and so it's theoretically on top. So all I have to do is I can either choose my question object, right-click, and order that to the back, or I could select all of my fruits and right-click and order those to the front. So either one of those, much like most other applications, you need to maybe manipulate the ordering. And we talk about ordering in our Mimio Studio Intermediate 1 session, so check that out if you'd like to learn more. So again, it's a blue border, so eventually I'm going to change that. I'm going to put my fruits right up here. It doesn't really matter the order. So my question is, and if I want to go back and edit my question, I can select it. I can change it to bold. I can change the color maybe to this nice little blue color. Maybe I want to make it bigger. So I can manipulate all my text as I want, get it however I want it. And now I need to choose my correct answer, because notice no correct answer is chosen. And this does have a correct answer. So which of the fruits shown does not have a peel? So I believe that's going to be our tasty little strawberry. So that's my answer key. And as soon as I click off of that, that goes away. Now there is our submit button. So I maybe want to have that a little bit better on my screen. So I'm going to bring that over. I'm going to drag this down and make those answers a little bit bigger. Maybe move my pictures around. So you have a lot of functionality and flexibility to set this up. So if I want this to be gone, in fact, maybe I want both of these to be locked down, I can select everything and then right-click and lock those down so I don't have a chance of messing that up. So that's really how easy it is. Again, I could duplicate this page and just change things at will, but that's how you would set up any universal question template, including an essay question, a numeric question, or a short answer question, which again is only available if you have Mimio Mobile enabled mobile devices, such as an iPad, an iPhone, an Android tablet, those things. So that is how we would create a universal question template. So let's talk about, once you have your questions started or designed, how to start and stop polling. So once again, there are two ways to start polling and there's two ways to stop polling. So there's that little blue button we saw earlier. You also have a green button down at the bottom on this toolbar. And that only becomes active when you're on a page. So let's go back a page. If I would click on this button, that's going to start polling. Now you'll see that you're starting because there's a timer down here that's ticking away. And you will also notice that once students start pressing buttons on their handheld units, which are now lit up, there would be 3 ABC buttons that are lit up on their devices. As they start pushing answers in, you're going to see the number of students that are keying in responses right at the bottom. So 2 students in my sample class have done it. You can stop this whenever you choose to, or when the last student in your class enters an answer, then it would automatically stop as long as every device has input an answer. So you can manually stop this by either A, hitting the stop polling button there, or you can hit the red button, which means stop. And as you hover over it, it tells you to do that also. So as soon as I hit stop, it's going to reveal the correct answer. I get immediate feedback. And if I choose to, I could look at the results. Now, I did not build a results page into this one. But what I can do is I can always come down here to the ribbon, the toolbar ribbon, and check on the pie graph, the results graph. And as I do that, I can get instantaneous question results built in right here. So I'm going to check that box there, and you're going to see a great breakdown right off the bat. Of my 2 students, I have a 50-50. The hatched mark one is always the correct answer, and the other one is the incorrect answer. So I'd probably need to work with these 2 students a little bit more on this graph. So once again, if I would maybe duplicate this page, and let's say we had, just for time's sake, let's pretend that we reshape this question, maybe put other answers in there. But let's say on this one that I build in a results chart. So I can place that in here, maybe lock it down if I choose, so right-click lock, and ask that question again. Maybe a week later where I've had a chance to reteach this lesson to my students. Again, you'll see the timer. My students have input. I can hit this button now if I want to, or stop polling there and stop it, and instantaneously that data will show up. So it gives you a variety of methods to display those results. Either build one in, or you always have access to using the results bar down here. Now again, this toolbar down here, the MimioVote toolbar, will only show up if you have MimioVote enabled devices, whether the units themselves or mobile devices, and you have a question built in. Now one thing I do want to share with you at this point is I'm going to go ahead and send to you now a reference pack. And these are a set of PDF cards that we have available on our website. And this is going to give you some helpful tools to remember what some of these tools do in the MimioVote system and all that. So you're going to be seeing a little message that pops up on your screen that Mimio admin has sent you something. If you want to, go ahead and check yes and save that to your desktop or somewhere where you can find that easily. And you can open that up and have those for reference. So it's a free gift that I'm providing to you for being here. So again, starting and stopping is very simple. There are going to be 3 different modes, let's talk about, that you can assess students. And each of these are a little bit different in what they do. So the teacher-led mode, which everything that I've done so far has been a teacher-led mode, where I have had to start and stop the assessment for my students. There is a self-paced test mode, which allows you to utilize normal paper pencil test methods and send those questions out to the devices, and your students put in answers, and they work through it at their own pace, and they automatically get graded, which is fantastic. And then our quick vote mode allows you to assess students on the fly without any preparation on your part. Just anything you can dream up of, you ask the question, and it will throw those questions out there, and I'll demonstrate each of these. So let's start with the teacher-led because we've actually already covered part of this. So the teacher-led mode, once again, allows you to control when the polling starts and stops. Just like I've shown you, you can create questions and get those results quickly. All that data, no matter what mode you use, all of the data is automatically collected in the Mimio Studio Gradebook. If you have a textbook publisher that uses ExamView, there are mechanisms allowing you to export your questions from ExamView straight into Mimio Studio and have instantaneous tests. So definitely check that out. I believe there was a reference card pack that I just sent you that would talk about that. And then just like I've showed you, you can drag and drop this question result templates right from your gallery and you are set. So as soon as you start polling, you're going to be asked to choose a class. These classes would have already been set up in your gradebook, and then you can start polling and go from there. So a lot of different flexibility of what you're doing there. So once again, if you want to assess in an anonymous mode, you can certainly do that also. So realistically, you wouldn't even have to set up a Mimio Studio Gradebook if you didn't want to. However, no data would ever be collected in the anonymous mode. So if you want to just collect anonymous data and not have it graded, you could do that. But I would encourage you to check out our Mimio Studio Gradebook Quick Learn session to learn how to set up your gradebook. So you can collect all that data and learn how to run all sorts of reports and really maximize the learning potential. So once again, as we review, there's that Start Polling button, which you'll see activated when we have a question in place. There's the results. You have that timer display. You have the number of students that have responded. On the MimioVote units themselves, there is a little question mark on the left side of the unit, and that allows students during an assessment to press that, and on your display that will light up, and you'll be able to click on that and go find out which student possibly asked a question. So I just clicked on one of my test units. You'll see it lit up, and I can click on that, and it shows that Rachel Dugan has a question. So when I'm done with answering her question, I can, myself or her, we can press the question mark on her device, which I'm doing right now, and it goes out of my question queue. So it gives you some flexibility there for students to ask questions. So again, before you start polling, as soon as you select the polling button, it's going to, if you haven't already done it, it's going to ask you to select one of your classes that you've already set up in your gradebook. And I already had a Science 1 class selected, so that didn't pop up when we tried it. So that's teacher-led mode. Again, here's another sample. Start polling. It automatically goes timing-wise, and then I could have students respond, press stop polling, and I get the correct answer. Then I could choose to do session results or question results. So that's teacher-led. Now, self-paced mode allows students, in fact, before I go back to this, let me go back real fast. In the teacher-led mode, and I really want to point this out because I get this question quite a bit from teachers and students, but in the teacher-led mode, when a student punches their answer in, there's no going back. All right, so there's in the teacher-led mode, there is not a way for them to go back and change their answer. So I always tell students at the very beginning of the year that when we're using this particular type of question, you have to really think about it. And it's like, you know, if you jump off a cliff, there's really no turning back. So keep that in mind for the teacher-led mode. The self-paced mode allows students to utilize another assessment mode where they work at their own pace. Theoretically, they're working off of maybe a paper pencil type of test, or maybe it's projected on the screen a bunch of questions at once. But typically, most teachers use this mode as they deliver those paper pencil tests to students so they can go through at their own pace. They maybe write their answers on their test paper, and then when they're done, they can go through and use the MimioVote units and key in their right answers. Now, the great thing about this is during the self-paced mode, every student could be on a different question, and that's unique compared to the teacher-led mode. It is also possible in the self-paced mode that students can go back and review their answers and change their answers using the navigation buttons on the MimioVote unit. They can go backwards and forwards, and then they can also change their answers. So on the MimioVote unit itself, if they press the letter B, it's going to pulse, and that tells them that that's their correct, that's their answer they put in. So if they go back to that question later in the test, they rethought that, they can always push a different answer, and those answers will not be submitted until they go through the entire process, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. So it gives you great flexibility, especially if you have ExamView and you have those test banks. You can automatically import those questions right into Mimio Studio. You can use your current test you already have with Mimio, and have it set up. So a great feature about this, it means less grading for you and instant feedback. And this really goes to say with all assessment modes, because the software really does grade it for you, those multiple choice true-false questions, and you can get to instantaneous results. So the self-paced mode, again, it's going to have the same toolbar. You're going to notice a couple other buttons over on this side. There is a Start Self-Paced Test and a Generate Self-Paced Test. Now what these do allows you to, if maybe you already have questions built into a Mimio file and you want to make that into a printable test if you have no other test software, and generate a test that students can take. So to do this, what you are going to be able to do, now you can either do this with MimioVote connected or without it connected. So you can see right here, if you don't have a MimioVote system connected, you can come up to the File menu and you can say Print Test. Now when you say Print Test, it's going to generate a PDF file that looks something like this. It's going to have all those questions built in. All right, so let me show you an example of that. Here is a sample ink file that I have. Let me minimize some things here. So here's a sample ink file. I have 10 questions on it, so I can quickly flip through these. Now, if I wanted to, if I just wanted to use these questions and create a self-paced test, I could simply come right down to the bottom here, and I could say Print Test. So I can either print test there or come up to File Print Test. It really doesn't matter. So I can say Print Test, and it's automatically going to make it into a web-based page. It's going to give me my class name. Here's my questions. And so if I wanted to, I could simply print this out. I could save it as a PDF, but I'd have a test automatically generated. Now keep in mind, I'm not going to have really control of the format of this. So it depends on if you like that or not. So that's one way you can use the Mimio software to just instantly create the test. And now once you've printed that, let's say, or if you've printed out your own tests from your own testing software and got them printed up and students are taking those, you could very easily make a quick key. Here's a tip, by the way. So I'm going to start a brand new file. You can create an answer key without having to do a lot of work. So I'm going to bring in maybe a multiple choice question, and maybe by looking at my printed out test, I'm not going to take the time to actually type questions in here, because my goal is I'm going to utilize this as a self-paced test. And the beautiful thing about a self-paced test is that you don't have to be projecting any of this on your screen while students take it, because they're looking at their paper test. So, but I do have to put the answers in at the very least to create a key. So without really typing in any question, I can read my paper test, and if I know that question 1 is going to be B as an answer, I can simply mark that. And then I can come up here to Insert, Duplicate Page. It automatically renumbers. I look at my answer key. The question 2 should be C as an answer. So I can click over here and choose C. So you can quickly make an answer key based upon the test you already have, and then you're ready to deliver that to students. So how you deliver it to students, once it's been printed out, again we're in the self-paced mode, you would then come down here to this icon and say Start Test. Now let me go back to my screenshots, because otherwise this doesn't really display too well. So to start a self-paced test, I will click that icon, again it's down here, and then your entire screen on your monitor will show like this. All right, so you're going to have an ability to close that window, to minimize it so you can go about your business while your students are taking the test. It's going to give you a timer. You do have an option of setting that, making it time down, or just let it roll, timing him. I personally would not set a time, because when it does time down, if students aren't finished, it will lock them out of the assessment. So I would just simply, as soon as you start it, it will start a timer. I think it would also be a choice of yours if you let this timer screen show on your projector. I find that students sometimes get a little agitated when they see a timer out in front of them, but maybe you're doing some time tests. So typically, most teachers, when they use self-paced test, that is the day that they don't really even use their projector, because you don't need to be displaying anything. So once again, down in the bottom left corner, you're going to be able to see as a teacher display any students that have pressed the help button, and then any students that have submitted their test. So just like before, you would click on the Start Test button there, and that would start the polling process. So let me try this actually with the lesson I have here. You're not going to be able to see my entire screen, but let me just try to show you what's happening here. Let me minimize some information. So you may or may not be able to see this, but as soon as I click Start, it says test starting, all the handheld units light up and they time. So I'm not going to spend much more time on that just in case you aren't able to see that happen. So when I'm done, I can hit stop polling or simply close the window. It's going to ask me if I want to end the test, and I certainly do want to do that. So that's the self-paced test. Again, those answers are not locked in until a student presses the submit button on their device. Okay, so if you do have mobile devices, the mobile devices are going to look very much like this on a self-paced test. They have that, for every question that pops up, it's going to have, the number of multiple choice possibilities. It's going to tell them how many questions they have. When they get to that last question, they're going to have a submit button that will pop up for them. But otherwise, this is what students are going to see. So let me zoom in on this little movie that I have for you. So this is an example of a 20-question self-paced test, just to show you what the MimioVote units themselves would do. So once this movie starts playing, the MimioVote units will pop up. As soon as you start, it's going to say question 1. The navigation button will light up. As soon as the student presses an answer in, it's automatically going to navigate to question 2, and it's going to just automatically keep moving to the next question. Now you'll notice that these navigation buttons have lit up. So at this point, a student can press either back or forwards to go back into the questions, change their answers. And as they progress through all 20 questions in this example, when they get every question answered, they're going to see a submit button that lights up right there, the little asterisk. Now, the beautiful thing about this is fail-safe, and you guarantee engagement by every student, because that's the system will not let students submit their answers until every question has been answered. So there's no chance that a student is going to skip an answer. So if it doesn't light up and they got to the end of their test, that gives them a clear sign that they need to go back through their MimioVote unit and look for those pulsating answers. And if they get to a question that doesn't have any answers that pulsate, that tells them that they skipped that question. They will not be able to submit their answers until they answer it. So as soon as they press that, it's at that time, and that time only, that they will no longer be able to change any answers. And as soon as they answer it, it's going to automatically reveal their score. So this student got 95%. So your students see immediate results. You get those immediate results, as well as every question that's been graded, and that has automatically been scored in the gradebook. So it gives you a lot of power, not only using your MimioVote units, but also your mobile devices if you have the Mimio mobile application. So that's, the self-paced test is a fantastic tool to utilize, and I would highly encourage you to do that. So lastly, our last form of assessment is the QuickVote. It allows you to do that on-demand polling without anything on your end to have to prepare. Again, just like all the other assessment modes, you do get instant results because students just get engaged. And yet again, as soon as an answer is put in, all of that information goes immediately to the Mimio Studio Gradebook without any input on your part. So once we engage this process, you're going to see a very familiar toolbar, much the same. You have the ability to choose a class. You can go to the class manager, which allows you to take attendance and to see, to give students the ability to connect using the Mimio Mobile. Again, the start polling, you can get results. You have all of that information just like before. So one way to get to QuickVote, probably the easiest way, is to utilize the toolbar and come down here to Applications, and you'll click on QuickVote. Now, I will mention that if you have Mimio Mobile, and we do talk about this in our Mimio Goes Mobile session, there is a button at the top of the Mimio Mobile application that is specifically for QuickVote. And if you press that button in the application itself, it automatically goes to this mode. Otherwise, you control it right from the Applications menu. You're going to click on QuickVote. So here we have a standalone voting menu bar that, again, I could ask any question. A great tool for this is maybe to gauge your students' understanding of a topic at the end of the class. You could ask them on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being an A 5 being a B, or a 5 being maybe a D. You could instantly gauge their ideas. So you could choose your class from your list of classes that you might have put into the Mimio Studio Gradebook. I'll stay at Science 1. If I wanted to, I could click the Class Manager. You're going to be able to see the number of the students that are in your class and that have answered questions. Otherwise, you don't really need to mess with this, but you could use the QR code here to connect the Mimio mobile devices. We talk more about that if you have the Mimio mobile application. So I would start polling. Now, a little bit different here is that it's going to cue me to choose what type of question am I going to ask. So Maybe I want to ask, is the Earth a round type of shape, or is it a square type of shape? So A would be round, and B would be square. So I would choose the type of question. If I have mobile devices, I could also ask those open response questions here. But I'm going to stick to this because my students have the MimioVote unit, so I'm going to choose AB. Now, as soon as I do that, the polling starts. My students' handsets light up. They're going to key in their answers. And when I choose, I can stop the polling. Now, when I stop it, a little bit different here is this is where I need to choose the answer. So we could discuss this as a class. Of course, we know that the correct answer would be A, but I also have the option of choosing an opinion question. And as soon as I press A, the results tab is available. I can click that for question results. And I can see that both of my students in my class know that the Earth is more of a round shape, so that's a good sign. Now, I could alternately, at the end of my assessments that I've done throughout the day in this particular class, I could click on activity results, and this is going to give you a running total of every question that you've asked. So every question so far in this assessment, we've gotten a 67% as a class average. So you can use that for different incentives. Again, you can click on the edit button here to choose the type of displays. You can choose your percentage breakdown for your grading scale, and then flip it back over, and it gets customized to what you want. So it gives you some options as far as what you want to do. So there are 3 assessment modes. What I love about the Quick Vote mode is I can use it with anything that I do in my classroom, whether it's websites, maybe current events, videos that I do. I can instantly engage my students using the Quick Vote mode and ask any question that I want to. So I encourage you to think about how you can use that mode without any preparation. So finally, as we start to wrap this up, the assessment options using MimioVote as well as the Mimio Mobile are really endless. It depends on what you have. And just to make sure we clarify that if you have the MimioVote units, you have the option of using multiple choice and true-false. If you have mobile devices with a Mimio Mobile enabled machine, you not only have the multiple choice and true-false options, but you also have the 3 open response questions. So once again, if you'd like to learn more about using Mimio Mobile in your classroom, I encourage you to check out our Mimio Goes Mobile Quick Learn session at mimio.com/quicklearn, and that link should already be in your chat window. So finally, the Gradebook, again, is the powerhouse behind everything. If you've not already attended our Gradebook session, I would definitely encourage you to do that. The Gradebook is the core piece of the assessment system. It automatically collects all of that data. You're able to generate a number of reports showing all that data and to really parse that data down to really see achievement results of those students. And you can even import student lists to save time, as well as export all that class data into your favorite Gradebook program that your schools might already use through applications such as Excel. So you have a lot of power using the Gradebook, and that program automatically installs when you install Mimio Studio. So you will notice a little green Gradebook icon on your desktop, and that's what that is. So that is the Mimio Studio Gradebook. So as we finish off this session, I'll leave you with some extensions. Start to use this. Get out there, use the self-paced test. Utilizing your paper pencil test that you already have set up, create a self-paced test to start supplementing one of your lessons. Again, you can use this for real-time collection of data, both informal and formal assessments. And also with the Common Core assessments coming, you can use your mobile devices for great practice there. So a lot of different things you can do. If you're an ExamView user, check out that piece of PDF that was sent to you earlier. But we also have more information about how you can import your questions into Mimio Studio on our YouTube channel. So check those out in addition to our other Quick Learn sessions. Now we do have a range of other training options, both on-demand and online, so check those out from our PDFs, our 3 to 7 minute video tutorials on just about everything Mimio. Of course, you are already enjoying one of our Quick Learn recordings, but we do offer a great deal of live Quick Learn sessions, and I always tell teachers that these are a very great option. Of course, all of our training options are free here. But the live Quick Learn sessions allow you the opportunity to learn directly from a Mimio expert teacher using Mimio in their classroom every single day, as well as to interact with other people in those online courses. So definitely check those out. Each of those Quick Learn sessions are just under 60 minutes long. So check those out at mimio.com/quicklearn. Of course, we do have a Mimio Connect interactive teaching community. It's thousands and thousands of teachers that are interacting together to share lessons and get help from each other. So it's absolutely free. You have teacher-created lessons that you can download and use as they are or modify to fit your needs. Many of those are aligned to Common Core and state standards, and we do have a team of Mimio Masters called Ask a Master that answer your questions every single day about how to use the software, how to develop lessons, and all sorts of things to help you. So it's a true community for teachers by teachers. So here's a rundown of all of the Mimio Classroom products. In this particular session, we've talked about the MimioVote, of course. We've talked about Mimio Mobile, and everything is run because of the Mimio Studio Powerhouse software, including the Gradebook software, which installs with Mimio Studio. But if you'd like to learn more about any of our other products, check that out at Mimio.com or contact your local reseller or salesperson. So as we wrap this session up, I'd like to say thank you for joining me. In the left side of your chat window, I'm going to throw in one more link, and that will take you to a specific link that will allow you to take a short assessment, a 15-question assessment. And if you successfully complete that, you have multiple attempts. As long as you get an 80%, you will receive a automated email that will allow you to save, print, and download, if you choose, a personalized certificate that you could use for 1 free hour of professional development credit. So check that out if you have an option. Of course, if there's anything we can ever do to help you or to satisfy any training needs, definitely contact us at training@mimio.com. And definitely would love to see you get interactive with us on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or Twitter. So with that said, thank you for joining me today, and have a great day.